So, hey y'all, I'm back in this piece. Um, what I wanted to talk about today is cannabis and weed, and basically my thoughts on it, especially coming from someone that habitually used it for probably like 2+ years. I would say at least like 5 to 6 times a week. And I wanted to make this video because even though my sobriety journey on it hasn't been too long, I'm almost at the 3 week mark. And I just kind of wanted to share my experiences on it and how I feel 3 weeks off it. So let's just jump into it. One, the dreams. The dreams are back and they are very vivid and strong. I would say I have like a 50-50% ratio to dreams and nightmares, which kind of sucks, honestly, because at least like for the first 10 days of it, I think I had more nightmares than dreams, which really sucked because I would wake up at like the middle of the night, and just maybe cold sweats or just like stressed out, anxiety. And it was kind of like rolling the dice because at least when I was on cannabis, I didn't dream at all, which is kind of crazy to think about because I didn't think about this too much until I kind of stopped. And it's so strange, like actually kind of having dreams again. And some of them are good and I like enjoy, or maybe I took for granted like dreaming, because when you dream, you're actually having REM sleep. So that's what quality sleep is. So was this whole time I wasn't having quality sleep? Like that's kind of crazy to think about and scary. So um, appetite is definitely more under control. I will notice like it kind of feels like heartburn for me, but um, like my stomach will feel a little bit sour. And then like I'll have like hunger pains again. Like I never had hunger pains like this before. Um, and they can be kind of debilitating for like a minute or two. You're just like, this sucks. Like this really hurts. But overall, I feel a little bit better energy wise. I'm not as sluggish. I feel a little bit more determined throughout my day, I guess. There's still some ups and downs. I'll have cravings at night, especially when I'm bored. I notice when I'm not stimulated or into something that I'm like fully present in, I'll get that craving and it is really uncomfortable. Like, it's like, damn. So I guess I really relied on this substance when I was bored. And my one of my best friends and I, about 3 weeks ago after 4th of July, we were like kind of sharing our experiences on, how weed affects us and, how it kind of determined our days and how the novelty of it wore off. And we were just kind of like, it became part of our routine and we didn't like that. So we both decided to stop doing it. And it's crazy that it's almost the end of July because honestly, when I started this, I didn't even know how long or how far. I was just like, "Yep, um, let's see how I feel in a week." I even shared this with my parents, and they were like kind of scared. They're like, "Oh, you're going cold turkey. Do you want to like moderate it? Do you want to, um, maybe try weekends or every other day?" But the stuff I looked up on YouTube, it is so hard to even like moderate weed, at least for me, in my opinion, where I am in my life. Like the last thing I need is, at least on my work days and weekends lately, is to just get stoned and then just kind of be content with how things are, because I don't feel like I'm in the right mental headspace to kind of lean on that pleasure drug. Um, there's a saying like the same thing that gives you pleasure today or joy, um, compared to the same thing that gives you joy today can bring you pain and sorrow tomorrow. And that's why it's called a pleasure, because it's something that's from outside of yourself. And I don't know, like definitely no carts. And by the time at the end, I was just kind of doing joints and then edibles. And even though they were a little naturaler, I think cognitively, I would forget a lot of things. Like my short-term memory was shot. Um, my mood, even though I was like euphoric, it kind of wore off. And even though I was like taking it, I didn't feel any different. And I was like, okay, like I'm taking it and it's not even doing that effect that I used to love when I first started, doing cannabis. So I was just like, okay, something's up. I need to change something in my life. And happy to say, like 3 weeks in, I even downloaded an app to kind of keep myself accountable to see how my journey would go with this. And I kind of started trying to, you know, one of the things right now is kind of like with this video, I'm trying to record more YouTube videos. Um, I'm trying to learn Italian now so I could talk with my cousins. Like before, I just never made the time for it. And I think I need to do a lesson actually after I record this video so that my streak doesn't break. But kind of stuff that's a little more exciting and just being more like, I don't know, intentional, I guess, with my days lately. Because one thing I think that helped me to like kind of pull the trigger and go cold turkey was that I would work out hard, but then when I would get home, my diet was so crap. I would just basically be shooting myself in the foot and totally ruining my workouts. So even though I was like, the strongest I've been and like muscular, like I was also kind of fluffy too. And I still have some weight from it. But I think in these 3 weeks, I've lost like 3, 4 pounds that I gained from just overeating or having the munchies, which I would say is like one of the biggest drawbacks, I think, from cannabis that I underestimated. I used to think like, okay, it's a desire thing. Like it's in my brain. Like even though I'm hungry, I'll just tell myself not to do it. But the food and the sensations and how it tasted was just too strong to overcome. And that would really hurt me in the long run because I would just gain weight and fat. And then, I would take my shirt off and I'd just look in the mirror and I'd be like, wow, I'm not making any progress in the gym, and it almost looks like I'm letting myself go. So it would kind of ruin my discipline in the gym, and then I would feel self-conscious about myself, just not a good headspace, and it kind of just made my life feel monotonous. Some things at work would stress me out. There was a fire when I was smoking on a weekend and I didn't even know, and I was like freaking out, and it was like not even near our house and it was only a couple of acres and there was smoke in the sky, but for some reason I just flipped out and was totally like, losing control and freaking out to my parents, and I didn't like that feeling at all. I was like, wow, like I couldn't even enjoy myself. So what happens if there was something more serious or I need to like take action to something, but I was high? Like that thought scared me too, just not being like present enough. I did like listening to music and playing video games on it, but the thing I did notice is that what I kind of spoke about a little bit earlier is that once that novelty wore off, it kind of became the norm, and it just didn't like affect me as much. Or sometimes when I would smoke, my mucus in my nose would get kind of brown, and every time I would like wipe it, I would see it on my fingers and it would stain, and I'm like, are my lungs getting affected? Like, should I go to the doctor? It was temporary, but it definitely wasn't fun seeing that. And yeah, all those things considered, I was like, all right, I'm gonna take a break and do this as a challenge to myself to see how long I can do this, and see where it takes me. So far, I think 3 weeks in, I feel a little bit more myself. Like sober Jeff is, at least in three, I don't know, maybe I need a little more time. 3 weeks is not too long. I'm curious to see what my progress would be in a month or even two. another week on, I don't know how much it changed, but I don't know. Only time will tell. But it is exciting to see, like challenging myself to see, hey, like how long can I do this? Will there be more positive changes in my life? Uh, and like, I don't know, maybe, I get a little more consistent on YouTube. I'm reading more, I'm working out, I'm staying with my diet. Those kind of things help your self confidence and self esteem get better over the long run. And before I even made this decision, I kind of went to YouTube as well, and I was just looking at like, moderating weed, how's weed when you're actually sober? Because the first I was like, okay, is there a way where I can like do this every other day or maybe the weekends? But for me, I was like, I don't know. Even if I tried weekends or every other day, it probably would turn into like every day, and before I know it, I'm back at square one, and I didn't want to do that. So for me, I thought the best course of action was to go cold turkey with it. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. It's definitely not easy. I've had some lows for sure, but I always just try to remind myself of why I started this, and if other people can do it, why can't I? Just because they're able to be sober from it or had different experiences with cannabis, doesn't mean that that makes them special and that I can't do it either. So, like mental resilience and being mindful also when you're trying to curb an addiction, because I was addicted to it. And saying that now, it's hard to say, but it was the truth. Like that's the brass tacks of it. And I wanted to make this for anyone out there that is struggling with it, that you're not alone, and it is possible. And I feel overall pretty good, and I am excited to see what is coming down the road. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to get more content from me if you're rocking with what I'm saying, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks. Peace.